Invincible was out. But Michael Jackson wasn't satisfied with what happened next. He believed Sony hadn't done enough to promote his album. And now, he was ready to fight back. Michael's frustration wasn't just about disappointing sales. He also questioned Sony's handling of his royalty payments and the money he believed he owed the company. The disagreement was becoming much bigger than one album. Michael wanted out. And there was something extremely valuable sitting behind his recording deal, his master recordings. Contemporary reporting said Jackson's contract with Sony gave the company rights over his masters for a period extending beyond the end of his recording term. Michael believed Sony's control over those recordings was a problem, and he had another major concern: Sony ATV. Remember, Michael owned 50% of Sony ATV, and that company controlled an enormously valuable music catalog. So the dispute wasn't simply Michael versus a record label. There were much bigger assets involved. And then Michael's anger focused on one person, Tommy Mottola, the chairman and CEO of Sony Music. What's fascinating is that this wasn't always a hostile relationship. Michael had previously praised Mottola and had worked with him for years, but by 2002, everything had changed. In June 2002, Michael began publicly criticizing Sony, and then in July, he took the fight directly to the public. Michael appeared with Reverend Al Sharpton in Harlem. He accused the record industry of exploiting artists, and accused Mottola of racism. Contemporary reports documented Jackson's July 2002 statements and his appearance with Sharpton. Sony strongly rejected his accusations. Michael went even further. He called Mottola racist and accused him of mistreating black artists. Sony responded by calling the accusations false and attacking Michael's claims. And Michael wasn't alone. Hundreds of his fans gathered outside Sony's headquarters in New York to support him. They carried signs attacking Sony and Mottola. The July 2002 protest outside Sony's Madison Avenue headquarters was reported at the time, with several hundred fans attending. Michael had turned his private dispute with Sony into a public movement. Sony, however, told a very different story. The company said it had invested heavily in Invincible and rejected Michael's claim that poor promotion was responsible for the album's performance. Contemporary reports put Sony's promotional spending at more than $26 million. So now there were two completely different versions of the story. Michael said Sony had failed him. Sony said it had supported him. And neither side was backing down. But beneath all the accusations was an even bigger question. What would happen to Michael's recordings and his stake in Sony ATV? Because Michael wasn't just fighting over an album, he was fighting over control. But who was really right? Was Michael Jackson justified in going after Sony? Or did Sony have a point? Leave your take in the comments. Next episode, the catalog becomes the battlefield. Because Michael wasn't just fighting over an album, he was fighting over control. Subscribe for part 6. The real battle was only beginning.